Welcome again to another edition of Family Worship Night. Thank you for taking the time to join us for these shorter devotional videos based upon our Write a Verse a Day campaign that we're doing here at Fellowship Church. Now this month's theme is perseverance, and today's verse comes from Philippians chapter 3 and verse 14. It says this: I press on towards the goal for the prize of the upward call of God in Christ Jesus. You know, this letter was written by the Apostle Paul, and I noted first that he says that he needs to press on. He also talks about in this section about how he wants to mature and how he doesn't want to give up, and he wants to keep on growing and doing what God is calling him to do. I think that's interesting. As we think of Paul, we might think of things like his boldness in preaching the gospel, or his wisdom in writing many of the books of the New Testament, or the fact that he had such a love for people that he built congregations and churches all across the Mediterranean area. But yet, even though he had done so much, he had accomplished so much for God, he still wanted to press on and do even more. Paul said that he needed to keep going. He says, I have to keep perfecting. I have to keep striving for God in all the way to the end. You know, next thing he said, that he looks forward to the goal of the prize. You know, Paul did not sit on the successes of his past, or he didn't wallow in the failures and trials of his past either. Instead, he looked forward. He looked forward to the prize that God was calling him towards, working all the way to the end, working on his next assignment that God would give him. I recently was reading a story about Reverend David Brainerd, who was a Presbyterian missionary that worked with Native Americans in the mid-18th century. You know, he helped to develop schools and even whole communities during his work. However, he only served for 4 years as a missionary, but yet he made a lasting impact upon the indigenous people of the land. You know, Reverend Brainerd, however, is not known necessarily for his accomplishment or even the numbers of people that came to know Jesus Christ through his work. What he is most known for is his perseverance. He continued to minister to the gospel of Jesus Christ despite constant suffering and pain from depression, loneliness, constant starvation, and he eventually died from tuberculosis after a 7-year battle with the disease. Despite his challenges, he ran his race. He served all the way to the end. He literally gave all, including his life, for the upward call of God in Christ Jesus. Oh, that we would be found faithful, doing the same, serving God all the way to the end. Thank you for joining us for this video. We'll see you again next week.